Then spiritual live nar spiritual science. The Folgers theory is a new and exciting theory that attempts to explain the Earth's magnetic field using interdimensional magnetic monopoles and skyrmions. The Folgers theory is a bold and original theory that holds great potential for scientific and philosophical discoveries. It is based on the work of Chris Folgers, a Dutch physicist and philosopher, who published a groundbreaking article in 2023 about the Earth's magnetic field. In his article, he proposed that the Earth is a skyrmion, a topologically stable soliton arising from a nonlinear field. A skyrmion is a rotating object with a magnetic moment, behaving like a magnetic particle. Folgers also proposed that the Earth is surrounded by a background magnetization originating from other interdimensional magnetic monopoles. An interdimensional magnetic monopole is a hypothetical elementary particle with only one magnetic pole, and it can exist in higher dimensions. The Folgers theory employs various equations to describe the scalar field of the skyrmion, the magnetic field of the monopoles, and the overall magnetic field of the Earth. Other Folgers equations suggest that consciousness depends on changes in reality over time. This implies that consciousness varies according to the awareness and creation of the observer, who can measure or create reality. Consciousness is a scalar quantity with magnitude but no direction. It can change over time and under the influence of external factors, such as the electric field or other aspects of reality. These equations can explain how the universe originated and evolved using the multidimensional magnetic field. The Folgers theory can also explain how space-time originated and is structured using the multidimensional magnetic field. Finally, the Folgers theory can elucidate the origin and existence of the multiverse and parallel worlds through the multidimensional magnetic field. The Folgers theory was developed by Chris Folgers, a Dutch physicist and philosopher, who drew inspiration from the work of Paul Dirac, who predicted the existence of magnetic monopoles. The Folgers theory proposes that everything in the universe is composed of the multidimensional magnetic field, which is the fundamental field from which everything is constructed. The multidimensional magnetic field can be split or combined into various dimensions, such as space, time, electricity, and magnetism. The multidimensional magnetic field can also explain all natural forces and particle matter as different manifestations of the same field. The Folgers theory is based on a set of equations describing the properties and relationships of the multidimensional magnetic field. These equations are derived from the symmetries and invariances of the field and have been tested and confirmed through experimental observations. Preface: in the beginning of the Folgers theory, I pioneered the exploration of consciousness, integrating it into the realm of physics. I have addressed various inquiries about consciousness to a necessary extent for a comprehensive understanding within the context of physics. Therefore, we can rely on this perspective. Consciousness can be likened to data, while DNA functions as an algorithm. The construction of reality bears semblance to a computer code. This is why the principles of physics align and enable calculations using earthly elements. The intriguing aspect is that our reality is intricately computed, almost as if it were a conscious creation. In our three-dimensional world, consciousness holds the ability to contract ailments like a virus, which in turn affects our physical well-being despite being a projection of our consciousness. This suggests that a parasite or virus could manifest through our conscious awareness. Similarly, in the higher dimension where consciousness roams unrestricted, living a dreamlike existence, it is conceivable for consciousness to become influenced by a parasite. This parasite, much like ants, can manipulate consciousness through hypnotic means. Defining consciousness is a complex endeavor. In our current dimension, we exist as physical beings in an electromagnetic environment. Ancient texts from figures like Thoth or Hermes in ancient Egypt imply that humans are essentially celestial entities residing within physical bodies. Stars, which are visible in the sky, bear resemblance to our nature. We are akin to monopoles in our world, and consciousness itself can be likened to a monopole. In the higher dimension, we attract only that which resonates with us and aligns with our desires. We possess a singular positive pole. The intrusion of the parasitic entity has ensnared us in this dimension, possibly resembling a subatomic entity known as a skyrmion. This skyrmion consists of two monopoles with opposing polarities, colliding to trigger a subsequent response, analogous to a Big Bang, leading to our birth on Earth. Individually, each of us marks the inception of creation, and the journey of creation culminates with us as well. This cyclical process is partly why we observe a world in decline, rife with injustice and malevolence. Our perception of being oppressed and ensnared within this reality arises due to the influence of the parasitic force. It appears as though an influential elite wields control over the world, a notion rooted in truth, as this contradicts our intrinsic desires. We find ourselves confined within an economic system that feels enslaving, a predicament that renders us powerless. In the span of a human life, approximately a century or so, the immortal consciousness becomes wholly depleted and consumed, only to reset itself at the end of life and initiate the cycle anew. However, this cycle perpetuates the turmoil. In the higher dimension, this phenomenon involves the parasitic entity siphoning the vast energy inherent in the monopole. Consequently, it entraps our consciousness within creation, triggering the process of entropy. Following this point, our self-image distorts, and we predominantly associate ourselves with ego consciousness. We now inhabit a planet alongside billions of others, unable to extricate ourselves from it, even though we are inherently interconnected and capable of utilizing the entire universe. While this may seem like a work of fantasy, I intend to substantiate this with comprehensive physics and mathematics. By describing the higher dimensions, which ultimately contribute to our physical world, I hope to present a coherent framework that sheds light on these intricate concepts. Introduction. What if I were to tell you that the world you see is not real? That everything you perceive, feel, hear, and smell is merely an illusion created by your own mind? That you are essentially living in a hologram where you have the power to create your own reality? This might sound like science fiction, but it is at the core of a revolutionary scientific theory that could forever change our view of the universe. Welcome to the Folgers theory, how you create the world around you. In this documentary, we delve into the work of Folgers and his team, who have been researching the Folgers theory for years. Folgers is a physicist specialized in quantum mechanics and cosmology. He became intrigued by the Folgers theory when he discovered a connection between the Earth's magnetic field and human consciousness. He developed a series of equations that demonstrate how the scalar field of the skyrmion and the magnetic field of the monopoles together determine the Earth's total magnetic field. Using these equations, Folgers can predict how the Earth's magnetic field responds to various stimuli, such as solar winds, earthquakes, or human emotions. He has constructed a special chamber in which he can measure and manipulate the Earth's magnetic field using electromagnets, lasers, and sensors. In this chamber, he conducts experiments exposing subjects to different scenarios, such as meditation, music, or stress. He then measures how their brainwaves change and how that impacts the Earth's magnetic field. His findings are astounding. He has demonstrated that human consciousness is capable of influencing the Earth's magnetic field in a measurable and reproducible manner. He has also discovered that the Earth's magnetic field, in turn, influences physical reality, such as temperature, air pressure, or gravity. He concludes that the Earth's magnetic field acts as a kind of holodeck, a holographic and projection field in which we can manipulate our reality with our thoughts and intentions. To better understand the Folgers theory, we must imagine that the Earth's magnetic field consists of different layers stacked upon each other. Each layer has its own frequency, density, and structure. These layers are not separate but form a whole. They are like the layers of an onion that together make up the onion. Each layer is a reflection of the core, and the core is a reflection of each layer. This means that each layer of the Earth's magnetic field is a copy of another layer but on a different scale. It's as if you were looking into a mirror and had another mirror behind you. You would see yourself in the mirror, but also your reflection in the other mirror. And so it continues, infinitely. These layers are not only mirrors of each other but also interconnected. They communicate with each other through resonance, a phenomenon in which two or more objects adopt the same vibration when they are close to each other. For example, if you have two tuning forks with the same pitch and you strike one, the other will also start vibrating. This happens because they share the same frequency and thus resonate with each other. The same principle applies to the layers of the Earth's magnetic field. When one layer changes, the other layer changes as well. This means that we can influence every layer of the Earth's magnetic field by altering our own frequency, which we do by changing our thoughts and emotions. Our thoughts and emotions are, in fact, nothing but electromagnetic waves produced by our brain. These waves have a specific frequency, amplitude, and phase. These waves determine how we feel, what we think, and how we act. They also shape how we perceive the world around us. For instance, when we are joyful, we see everything in a positive light. When we are sad, we perceive everything in a negative light. Thus, our thoughts and emotions color our reality. But that's not all. Our thoughts and emotions also impact reality itself. When we change our frequency, we also alter the frequency of the Earth's magnetic field within which we reside. And by doing so, we also change the physical properties of that layer, such as temperature, air pressure, or gravity. We can literally create our reality with our minds. This might sound incredible, but it has been scientifically proven by Folgers and his team. The Folgers theory isn't just an intriguing scientific hypothesis, it's also a powerful tool for change. When we realize that we create our own reality with our minds, we can enhance our reality with our minds as well. For example, we can utilize the Earth's magnetic field to spread positive energy across the planet, thereby reducing the negative impacts of pollution, exploitation, or violence. We can also use the Earth's magnetic field to explore new possibilities, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and experience. For instance, we can establish contact with other life forms existing in different layers of the Earth's magnetic field, learning from their wisdom and culture. We can also journey to other dimensions existing in different frequencies of the Earth's magnetic field, observing alternative versions of our history and future. We can even travel backward or forward in time by aligning our frequency with a specific moment in the Earth's magnetic field, thereby influencing our own timeline. The Folgers theory also invites us to redefine ourselves and reconsider our relationship with others. Recognizing that we are all connected to each other through the Earth's magnetic field enables us to show more respect, empathy, and love for one another. We can become aware of the impact our thoughts and emotions have on the well-being of others, fostering more harmony and peace in the world. We can also cultivate a greater appreciation for the diversity and beauty of life in all its forms, thereby finding more meaning and joy in our existence. But what if we were to tell you that this is just the tip of the iceberg? That there is much more to discover about the Earth's magnetic field and about ourselves? That there exist phenomena that surpass our imagination, which could forever change our view of the universe and ourselves? That what we think we know about the universe is simply incorrect, and that our world, on which we live, is actually an endless flat surface with a kind of overarching structure. That the birth of the universe coincides with our personal birth, and that we are the cause of the Big Bang. How can that be? How can we prove it? And what does that mean for our lives and understanding of the universe? In this documentary, we follow the work of Folgers and his team, who have been researching the visualization of this dimension for years. Folgers is a mathematician specialized in geometry and topology. He became fascinated by the Folgers theory when he discovered a connection between the Earth's magnetic field and the shape of the Earth. Using these equations, Folgers can predict how the Earth's magnetic field changes as we change our frequency, and how that influences the shape of the Earth. To better understand the Folgers theory, we must imagine that the Earth's magnetic field is like an elastic band that we can stretch or contract with our minds. When we stretch the elastic, we flatten the Earth. When we contract the elastic, we make the Earth more spherical. This is because the elastic distorts the space in which the Earth resides. Space is not flat or straight but curved or bent. This is what Einstein taught us with his general theory of relativity, gravity is not a force that pulls objects towards each other, but an effect of the curvature of space by mass and energy. However, the Earth's magnetic field is not only an elastic band but also a screen. The screen projects what we see as the night sky onto the overarching structure above the Earth. The night sky is thus not an image of the actual positions of celestial bodies, but an illusion created by the Earth's magnetic field. This is what Copernicus taught us with his heliocentric model. The Sun does not stand still at the center of the universe but orbits around the Earth along with the other planets and stars. But then, how can we know what truly happens in the universe? How can we know if there are other worlds or other life forms? We can do that by changing our frequency, and thus altering the Earth's magnetic field. When we do that, we not only change the shape of the Earth but also the image on the screen. We can then see other dimensions that exist in different frequencies of the Earth's magnetic field. We can then communicate with other monopoles that exist in those dimensions. A monopole is a hypothetical elementary magnetic particle that has only one magnetic pole, as opposed to a dipole that has two magnetic poles. A monopole could be the basis for all electromagnetic interactions in the universe. A monopole could also have consciousness, just like us. Therefore, a monopole could be a different life form, perhaps much older and wiser than us. We do not yet fully understand which could be the basis of all electromagnetic interactions in the universe. That this force manifests itself as an elementary magnetic particle, a monopole, which might have consciousness, much like we do. That this monopole resides at the core of the Earth and influences us while also providing protection? How can that be? How can we prove it? And what does that mean for our lives and our understanding of the universe? You will see all of this in this episode of The Folgers Theory: How You Create the World Around You. In this documentary, we delve deeper into the workings of magnetism, a force that we still do not fully comprehend. Magnetism is a physical phenomenon that arises from the movement of electric charges. Magnetism can attract or repel objects, depending on their magnetic properties. It can also generate or receive electromagnetic waves, such as light, radio, or X-rays. However, magnetism is not merely a force that affects objects, it is also a force that creates objects. According to some scientists, there exists an elementary magnetic particle that could be the basis of all electromagnetic interactions in the universe. This particle is called a monopole because it could have only one magnetic pole, unlike a dipole that has two magnetic poles. Therefore, a monopole would not have a north or south pole but only a plus or minus pole. A monopole would also lack mass, possessing only energy. Consequently, a monopole would not be subject to gravity but only to magnetism. It would also lack charge, having only spin. Therefore, a monopole would not respond to electric fields but only to magnetic fields. It would not occupy space, only time. Thus, a monopole would not be bound to a location but only to a moment. However, a monopole would not only be an elementary magnetic particle but also an elementary conscious particle. A monopole could possess consciousness, much like us. Therefore, a monopole would not only be a physical object but also a mental subject. It would not only perceive but also think, feel, and will. A monopole would reside at the core of the Earth, playing a crucial role in the functioning of our planet. The Earth's core is, in fact, the source of the Earth's magnetic field, which shields us from harmful cosmic radiation, while allowing some of it to pass through. This radiation arises from electric and magnetic processes in the dimension where cosmic interactions take place. This dimension is characterized by the multidimensional magnetic field that manifests as electricity and magnetism. This is what we receive with our radio telescopes, revealing to us that our world seemingly rotates and moves at incredible speeds. However, the Earth's core does not only act as a generator but also as a receiver of the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth's core responds to changes in the Earth's magnetic field caused by our thoughts and emotions. Therefore, the Earth's core does not solely affect our physical reality, but it also interacts with our consciousness and emotions. This intricate interplay between the Earth's core and human consciousness is a central theme in the Folgers theory, shedding light on the profound interconnectedness of the universe and our place within it. To better understand the Folgers theory, we need to imagine that the multidimensional magnetic field is like a shield that surrounds and protects us from harmful cosmic radiation. This radiation originates from electric and magnetic processes occurring in the dimension where cosmic interactions take place. This dimension is like an ocean of energy, where waves and currents arise from the movement of electric charges and magnetic poles. These waves and currents are known as electromagnetic waves and have various frequencies, amplitudes, and phases. These waves can convey information about the sources that cause them, such as stars, planets, or black holes. However, the multidimensional magnetic field is not just a shield, it's also a filter. The filter allows only certain electromagnetic waves to pass through, specifically those that resonate with our frequency. Resonance is a phenomenon where two or more objects adopt the same vibration when they are close to each other. For example, if you have two tuning forks with the same pitch and you strike one, the other will also start vibrating. This happens because they share the same frequency and thus resonate with each other. The same principle applies to the multidimensional magnetic field. If an electromagnetic wave has the same frequency as our magnetic field, it will be allowed to pass through. If not, it will be blocked. However, the multidimensional magnetic field is not just a filter, it's also an amplifier. The amplifier increases the amplitude of the electromagnetic waves that are allowed to pass through, making them more visible to us. Amplitude is the height or strength of a wave, determining how much energy or information it carries. But what if we were to tell you that this is only half the story? That there is much more to discover about the Earth's magnetic field and about ourselves? That there is a cause for the origin and evolution of the Earth's magnetic field that has nothing to do with natural processes but everything to do with our own will? That this cause resides in a higher dimension where a skyrmion rules over two opposing monopoles, engaged in an eternal struggle? That this struggle leads to a cosmic collision that created and isolated our dimension from its surroundings? How can that be? How can we prove it? And what does that mean for our lives and our understanding of the universe? You will see all of this in this episode of The Folgers Theory: How You Create the World Around You. In this documentary, we delve deeper into the origin and evolution of the Earth's magnetic field and how it has created and isolated our universe from its surroundings. A skyrmion rules over two opposing monopoles, forced to stay together in a higher dimension by a skyrmion. These monopoles are the sources of the magnetic field in the higher dimension, each having its own frequency, amplitude, and phase. However, these monopoles are not in harmony but in conflict with each other. They constantly attempt to destroy or escape from each other. This leads to constant tension and instability in the total magnetic field. This tension and instability eventually culminate in a cosmic collision between the two monopoles, releasing an enormous amount of energy. This energy causes a rupture in the total magnetic field, giving rise to a new dimension. This dimension is our dimension, the one in which we live. This dimension is characterized by the Earth's magnetic field, which originates from a fragment of the total magnetic field dragged along by the collision. This fragment contains a smaller monopole, which settles at the core of the Earth. This cosmic collision is what we know as the Big Bang, the beginning of our universe. The Big Bang is not an explosion that created everything from nothing, but an implosion that isolated everything from something. So, our universe is not an expanding entity that keeps getting larger, but an encapsulated entity that is becoming smaller. Our universe is not an open system connected to other universes, but a closed system isolated from other universes. The Folgers theory is not just an intriguing scientific hypothesis, but also a powerful instrument for change. When we realize that we create our own reality with our minds, we can improve our reality with our minds as well. For instance, we can use the Earth's magnetic field to spread positive energy across the planet, thereby reducing the negative effects of pollution, exploitation, or violence. We can also utilize the Earth's magnetic field to explore new possibilities and push the boundaries of our knowledge and experience. For example, we can connect with other monopoles existing in different dimensions and learn from their wisdom and culture. We can travel to other dimensions existing in different frequencies of the magnetic field and witness alternative versions of our history and future. We can even travel backward or forward in time by aligning our frequency with a specific moment in the magnetic field, thus influencing our own timeline. In this episode, we have observed how the skyrmion and monopoles created and isolated our dimension from a higher dimension through a cosmic collision that gave rise to our universe. We have also witnessed how the Earth's magnetic field shaped and guided our universe throughout time. We have seen how our magnetic field can be influenced by our thoughts and emotions, and how that can change our reality. However, this is only the beginning. There is much more to discover about the Earth's magnetic field and about ourselves. Many more questions remain to be asked and answers to be found. We want to express our gratitude for your attention and interest in this documentary. We hope you have enjoyed this journey through the Folgers theory, how you create the world around you. We hope you have learned something new, something surprising, something challenging. We hope you have felt something beautiful, something powerful, something meaningful. We invite you to continue on this journey and to create your own reality with your mind. We encourage you to dare to dream and to make your dreams come true. We invite you to explore, experiment, and play with the Earth's magnetic field. We encourage you to share, connect, and love life in all its forms. We wish you much success, happiness, and joy in your creation. This marks the end of our documentary, but the beginning of your adventure. This is the Folgers theory, how you create the world around you.